President Donald Trump has refused to say if he would accept the results of the 2020 presidential election. Take a look.
Are you suggesting that you might not accept the results of the election?
I have to say, look, Hillary Clinton asked me the same thing.
No, I asked you the same thing in the debate.
Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit
What
to
I'm
that
saying
principle?
is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
Well,
okay?
Chris.
And you know what? She's the one that never accepted it.
I agree.
She never accepted her loss, and
But
she looks like
can
a
you
fool.
can you give a direct answer? You will accept the
I
election?
have to see. Look, I have to see. No, I'm not going to just say yes. I'm not going to say no, and I didn't last time either.
Whether it's in 2021 or 2025, how will you regard your years as president?
All right, so, I wonder if he'll accept it. Well, maybe if he wins. I think that would be the only realistic situation where he would accept the results of the election. Now, to be fair, they threw in a part about Hillary, and actually he was right. I mean, Hillary Clinton since 2016, just as a side note, has been talking about the Russians for like the last 4 years. Like, no, it's the Russians, it's James Comey, it's the Bernie bros. They all conspired to steal the election from me. No, you won. You technically won by 3 million votes. You just didn't win the Electoral College, which shouldn't exist anyway because it's a remnant from slave owners, from the time of slave owners. So, in slavery. So, no, actually, in all, well and good, without the, Russiagate or anything like that, no, Hillary Clinton probably would have won. Absolutely, actually would have won. Because she got more votes if we had a different electoral system. We do not. We should probably change that to where more votes actually does win. But we would actually have to have people advocating for that. Is Hillary Clinton out there advocating for getting rid of the Electoral College? If she is, all credit to her. But I'm only really seeing leftists, the same Bernie bros that they went after, quote unquote Bernie bro, back in 2016 and also in 2018, 2019, and, all that. They're the only ones that seem to be calling for the abolition of the Electoral College. Weird. Where's the establishment in this? Very strange. Very strange. But anyway, so let's get to, like I said, whether or not Donald Trump will accept the election results. Yeah, he will if he wins. That said, to be fair, he kind of didn't even accept it when he wins, when he won, because he lost the popular vote. That's why he was claiming, there's so much fraud. They're busing in Mexicans to the polling places. The Democrats are, lots of fraud, voter fraud, fake news, etc. And I actually won the popular vote. No, you didn't. Take the win where you got it in the Electoral College. You happen to outdo Hillary Clinton in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin because Hillary Clinton did not spend any time in those states and did not have an operation in those states to get out the vote. That was her fault. It wasn't you. Okay, you didn't do that. It was her election to lose, and she absolutely blew it. She blew it. Now, that said, those 3 states, plus more, are states that Donald Trump is not doing well in. In fact, according to a Change Research CNBC poll released this week, Joe Biden is leading in Michigan 48-42, about 6 points. In Pennsylvania, the poll showed Biden ahead 50-42, 8 points. And Biden winning in Wisconsin 48-42, again, another 6-point lead. It gets worse. In Florida, Real Clear Politics has Biden beating Trump by about 5.2%. Not good. In Arizona, by the way, Biden is also in the lead, but by closer margin. He's only leading by about 2 points. So now Donald Trump goes back and he calls this all fake polls, right? It's the fake polls by the fake news media. They got it wrong in 2016. Fox News has been very, very unkind to me when it comes to polls. No, look, if the trend holds, and it's very likely that it will, since, look, we're at the end of July, we're almost in August, and then you've got October, November. It's getting real close in here, right? And yes, of course, anything can change in 4 months. I get that. But right now, a lot of people, what's forefront on a lot of people's mind is coronavirus. And not only that, but you also have Black Lives Matter and those protests and the federal basically overreach. I mean, the feds are literally taking people off the street in unmarked vans. Hey, right wingers, if there's any, if there was any situation where you would want to rise up against a tyrannical government for plucking people off the street, well, now would be the time to do it. Oh, wait, no, it's because it's your guy. You agree with him. So it's funny how it's basically fascism is in vogue, and you can't wait to choke down that boot. Funny how that works. Anyway, so look, let's go back to, again, the polls, right? So look, there's a lot of people talking, and I even fell into the trap, and I admit that, right? Where I was like, oh, the polls were massively off. Actually, when you look at it, they weren't that far off, really. The problem is that you had Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump that were very, very close in polling, about a 2 to 3 point spread in a lot of places. And so they didn't show this massive thing. In fact, that there was a big problem in the Hillary Clinton camp where, and it goes back to what, I mean, when she would say dumb things like, why am I not 50 points ahead? Well, that's because of you. I mean, Hillary Clinton is the face of the establishment. Donald Trump was running a somewhat populist campaign, at least when it comes to trade. And not only that, but Hillary Clinton was considered a pretty unlikable person. Likability plays a huge part in elections. I know, who knew, right? And so I think a part of that is, of course, sexism that can be explained. I mean, I remember Emma Vigeland, for example, interviewing people saying that, oh, no, I'd never vote for a woman president. Women belong in the kitchen. Literally, that's stuff that they said. So, and that attitude is prevalent, especially among some of the older generation. And so there is that, right? And that's fairly self-explanatory. Not only that, but the Clinton plan to target suburban Republicans has failed. Those same Republicans now are, ironically, anti-Trump. These are people like the Lincoln Project, who are now being showered by resistance liberal cash and are being welcomed in the Democratic Party. So that's a big problem here. Man, that is a huge problem. But on to the main point here. You just had the president of the United States saying that I'm not going to accept the election results. How insane is that? And I know his main reason was the voting by mail, it's the biggest fraud in the world. No, it's not. Vote by mail is not filled with fraud. I know there are states that do this, that have been doing this for quite some time, have very, very low levels of fraud. I've given the details in previous videos how it's actually secure and actually a great way to vote, especially considering now we have a pandemic, now we have coronavirus, and the fact that Donald Trump himself and his staff have also voted by mail. The only reason to oppose it is because it will end up hurting you electorally. And you know it already. And so that goes back to, of course, Paul Weyrich, right? You guys remember the video, Goo Goo Syndrome, right? Where Paul Weyrich, godfather of the modern conservative movement, said that basically the more people vote, the less Republicans win. The more Democrats win. So guess what? Our solution is not to reach out and be a better party and represent the working class, represent the people. No, we're just going to try to restrict the vote. Okay. Well, I mean, if that's what you're going to do, and by the way, that is what they have been doing, along with the Southern strategy of appealing to Southern racists, former Dixiecrats, former, yes, Democrats when they had the party switch. Republicans always love to bring up the fact that, oh, well, the KKK was racist, and they were Democrats. Yeah, and then in the 1960s, there was a party switch. And then now, where did all those racists go? Oh, they went to the Republican Party. They've been using that Southern strategy combined with voter suppression of black people and other minorities. And there you go. That's been their strategy. And Donald Trump continues this strategy. because voting by mail would actually make it easier for people to vote, for more people to vote. And so not only that, right? They've been pushing this voter fraud narrative for years and years, right? Not going so far as to accuse the sitting president of not being a legitimate president for at least that reason, but they had other reasons. For example, Obama is not a citizen, wasn't born here in this country. Oh, where's the birth certificate, Donald? You said you had investigators in Hawaii. Where are they? Where is it? Where's the real birth certificate? Oh, right. That doesn't exist because Obama already showed his real birth certificate, long form and everything. And guess what? He is a legitimate president. Far more than somebody like Donald Trump. But like now, here's the irony, right? Donald Trump is actually the second president to not actually win the majority of the votes. And if we actually lived in a democracy where, the person who gets the most votes wins, well, Donald Trump wouldn't be president. George W. Bush would have never been president either. In reality, Al Gore would have won the election in 2000. It would have changed the course of, I believe, of history. But it didn't go in that direction. But not accepting the results, Donald Trump is basically showing you that he doesn't believe in our electoral system, which is not good because our system only relies on the faith the public puts into it. And when you have the president of the United States saying, don't trust our electoral system, well, that's really bad. It takes us down a very, very dark road, which inevitably leads to fascist authoritarianism. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.